Hey there, Virgo. How are you doing today? I'm so happy you're joining me for your comprehensive tarot reading, relevant for the first half of May 2025. I've cleared the energy in this space and meditated on your cards, connecting to the vibrations that resonate with your Virgo spirit. Let's kick off by unlocking the affirmation that's whispering to you most clearly now. I am courageous and face my fears. This phrase has selected you, so say it with me, either in a whisper or with confidence, and let its peaceful energy envelop you. I am courageous and face my fears. I am courageous and face my fears. Now, let's begin your reading by drawing the 3 key tarot cards that will guide you through these 2 weeks. We have Queen of Cups, 2 of Pentacles, and 5 of Swords. Accompanying these is the oracle card Polar Bear from the Spirit Animal Wisdom deck. As for your tea leaf fortune card, it is Horse. I'm getting such a warm, gentle feeling from the Queen of Cups. This card is all about deep emotion, compassion, and genuine care. It's as if the Queen is saying, I see you, I know your heart is delicate yet strong, and I want you to trust your inner feelings. For you Virgos, who are known for being detail-oriented and practical, this could be a reminder to be kinder to yourself. Think about a time you hesitated to express your true feelings because you felt you had to stay perfectly composed. What if you gave yourself the same tenderness you offer others? Maybe you've been feeling a bit overwhelmed, juggling expectations at work or home, and the Queen is gently encouraging you to let that emotional wisdom guide you now. She shows that true strength comes from nurturing your inner self and not being afraid to share how you feel, even if it seems messy or complicated. Is there an area of your life where a little more self-care might heal an old wound or ease a present anxiety? Then there's the 2 of Pentacles. This card brings a message of balance and the dance of juggling different aspects of life. For you practical Virgos who like to keep things running smoothly, it might feel like sometimes you're walking a tightrope between work responsibilities, personal relationships, and maybe even personal growth or health issues. The 2 of Pentacles invites you to look at your schedule and ask yourself where you might be overcommitting or perhaps not allowing enough space to just breathe. Imagine a day where you're managing phone calls, emails, appointments, and still carving out time to enjoy a sunset walk. Does that image feel realistic or more like an ideal? This card gently nudges you to reconsider your priorities. Sometimes we get so caught up in making sure every single detail is perfect that the simple joys end up taking a back seat. It might be worth asking, what can I let go of, even temporarily? Or where can I create more harmony in my day-to-day routine? Now let's move on to the 5 of Swords. This card carries a bit of a warning about conflict, internal or external, and it might feel like a caution against endings that come with bitterness or a sense of loss. It often speaks of circumstances where disagreements or competitions leave you feeling like you've lost more than you've gained. For you, Virgo, this might have a resonant meaning. Perhaps you have been in situations at work or among friends where compromise seemed elusive, or where pride created a rift. Picture a scenario where a debate with a colleague or a misunderstanding with a friend leaves you questioning, was it worth it? The 5 of Swords isn't necessarily all doom and gloom. It could simply be highlighting that sometimes winning isn't the same as feeling fulfilled, and that retreating from a conflict might be a way to preserve your emotional well-being. Have you had moments recently where you felt you were trading your peace for a victory? This card encourages you to reflect on whether holding on to a grudge or continuing a conflict is protecting you, or if it might be time to let go for the sake of your own inner balance. I hope you're finding this reading meaningful. Let me know with a like and subscribe to the channel. Then there's the oracle card drawn for you, the Polar Bear. This beautiful symbol carries such warm, nurturing energy, almost like being wrapped in the loving arms of a kind, wise grandmother. Its message is all about releasing your fears and worries gently, letting them be healed over time. Imagine the polar bear as a beacon of calm strength. ready to help you unburden yourself from any lingering anxieties. Its energy suggests that if you have been weighed down by small worries, perhaps doubts about a relationship, financial concerns, or an internal sense of not being good enough, you have a guardian figure in this powerful spirit. This card might encourage you to pause and consider, what is it that I've been holding on to that no longer serves me? Or how can I open myself up to receiving the comfort that I deserve right now? For a Virgo, who often holds themselves to high standards, this is a reminder to allow yourself some grace. Let the polar bear's nurturing presence help clear the mental clutter so that you can face your daily routine with more confidence and softness in your heart. To tie everything together, we have the tea leaf card, the horse. A prancing horse represents a short journey, hinting that during this period you might soon embark on a new, albeit brief, adventure. This journey might not be about a grand move or a life-changing relocation, but rather it could be a day trip, a weekend getaway, or even a fresh experience that shifts your perspective for a short while. The nature of this journey is open-ended. It may be for business, perhaps dealing with a series of appointments that take you out of your usual comfort zone, or for pleasure, like an impromptu road trip with friends, or even a solo venture into a new local spot. Think about those times when a small trip or a change of scenery refreshed your outlook. Does that sound like something you might be needing right now? This card could be asking you, what small adventure can I undertake that might offer you a break from the day-to-day grind and in doing so, help realign your balance? It's a gentle call to step away from the routine, even if only for a little while, so that you can return with a renewed sense of clarity and purpose. Now, looking at these cards together, they weave a tapestry of emotions, balance, occasional conflict, deep healing, and an invitation for a little journey. The Queen of Cups sets the tone by urging you to be in tune with your inner feelings and to embrace the compassion you offer so easily to others, but sometimes forget for yourself. The Two of Pentacles follows by speaking to the practical challenges of balancing everything in your life, a challenge many Virgos understand deeply, and it asks you to think about where you might find a bit of extra stability or where you might ease off the pressure. The Five of Swords injects a note of caution into the mix, reminding you that conflicts, if not handled with care, might leave scars that affect your emotional space. It's an invitation to weigh whether a contentious battle is truly worth fighting, especially when it might cost you more than you're willing to give. The nurturing energy of the polar bear then brings a soothing counterbalance to any stress or tension. Imagine coming home after a day where disputes or juggling too many tasks has left you feeling drained. The gentle, loving presence of this guardian animal invites you to release the heaviness of those burdens, like letting go of tightly held knots in your heart and mind. It asks you to think about how you might open yourself to a little more kindness and self-care. Have you recently taken time to wrap yourself in comfort, maybe through a quiet evening with your favorite book, or a warm cup of tea with a friend who listens? This card is a soft reminder that sometimes the best way to move forward is to slow down and allow yourself to heal, holding on lightly to the light and guidance available to you. And then comes the playful horse, inviting you on a short journey. It might be a literal trip, or perhaps a new experience that changes the rhythm of your everyday life for just a little while. For you, Virgo, a sign that appreciates a well-planned schedule and routine, this card is a gentle push to sometimes break free from the familiar and explore something new, even if it's just a short jaunt. Reflect on your recent days. Have they felt a bit too predictable or confined? What small step can you take to add a little spontaneity to your life? Whether it's a visit to a quirky coffee shop in town, or setting out on a nature walk with a friend, the horse is here to remind you that adventure doesn't have to be grand to be enriching. It suggests that sometimes, a short escape can do wonders for your mental and emotional refreshment. So when I combine these energies, I see a season of heartfelt intuition, balanced action, and a bit of introspection in the face of challenges. The first half of May might bring moments where you feel deeply connected to your emotions, with the nurturing queen guiding you toward compassionate self-reflection. At the same time, you may find yourself balancing multiple responsibilities that demand your attention, and it's important to recognize when the scales tip too far. In those instances, the lessons from the Five of Swords urge you to pick your battles with care. Perhaps let some disagreements roll off your back rather than holding on to every small hurt or victory. The nurturing whisper of the polar bear offers you a safe haven to express any anxiety and soothe your inner worries, almost as if a warm embrace is waiting whenever you need a moment of care. And then the call of the horse reminds you to step away for a bit, to take a mini break from your routine so you can come back re-energized. Have you been finding that your need for perfection sometimes turns into a stressful balancing act? Do you often feel that a small moment of indulgence in your feelings, or even a spontaneous decision, could lighten your load? Maybe there's a recurring situation at work or home that makes you feel like you're in a constant tug of war between your responsibilities and your personal needs. This spread really challenges you to face those moments with a blend of kindness, assertiveness, and a willingness to shake up the status quo ever so slightly. For instance, imagine a typical day where your morning starts with a hectic rush to get everything ready, emails piling up, tasks waiting, and maybe even some unplanned conflicts emerging. The Queen of Cups could be telling you to pause and check in with your heart. Instead of treating every challenge like another task on the list, you might allow yourself a brief moment of reflection, maybe even writing down your feelings or confiding in a close friend, so that you can approach the day with more warmth and openness. Later on, as you try to juggle these varied demands, the Two of Pentacles in action, ask yourself, am I giving myself enough room to breathe, or am I trying to carry too much at once? Then, if a disagreement arises, be mindful of how the Five of Swords might come into play. Is the issue really worth the stress, or can a compromise be reached that leaves everyone a bit lighter? It's like when you're planning a small trip, even a local day trip, as suggested by the horse. Sometimes that break is exactly what you need to clear your head. Consider planning a short walk to a nearby park, or an outing that lets you step away from your usual routine. How might this brief escape serve as a reset for your emotions and energy? It doesn't have to be an elaborate vacation. Sometimes, the promise of a little change in scenery is enough to awaken parts of you that have been tucked away under routine and expectation. Each card seems to remind you that life is a blend of heart and mind. While your rational side, typical of your Virgo nature, demands organization and structure, your heart is calling for more creativity, compassion, and even a touch of adventure. Are you ready to let both parts of you coexist in harmony? Do you feel the tension between your need to control every detail and the natural, unpredictable flow of life? These cards together suggest that the path forward isn't about giving up on planning or careful thinking, but rather about allowing yourself to feel more fully, to acknowledge the beauty in the imperfect, and to embrace those little disruptions that might lead to unexpected joy. As we enter the first half of May, I invite you to consider all these aspects together. Let yourself be guided by your emotions, but don't be afraid to organize your time and energy in a way that brings balance. And if conflicts arise, allow them to pass without causing too much inner friction. Lean into the nurturing energy of the polar bear when you feel vulnerable, remembering that you deserve that extra dose of comfort and kindness. And when you can, take a small journey, even if it's just a little trip to a new cafe or a stroll in a part of town you rarely visit, to see life from a refreshing new perspective. What if unlocking abundance was as simple as pressing play? The Money Wave is designed to reprogram your mind for wealth. Don't miss out. Check the link in the description. Now, let's turn our attention to the central theme of love and relationships. Your true love oracle card is the Gardener, and the tarot card is Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups carries a wonderfully emotional energy, urging you to embrace a softer, more idealistic side in how you approach love. You might feel an invitation to express your feelings more openly, whether you're already in a relationship or awaiting a new connection. Picture someone who isn't afraid to extend gestures of affection, a kind note, a spontaneous call, or simply a smile that says, "I care." For you, Virgo, who often leans toward a methodical and practical approach, this card gently asks, could it be time to let your heart lead a bit, even when your mind is busy making lists and plans. Perhaps you've been so focused on keeping everything in order and perfect that you haven't given yourself the freedom to let vulnerable, romantic energy flow. Ask yourself if there are little ways you could show love that feel genuine but also slightly unexpected. Bringing in the influence of the gardener, there's a wonderful suggestion that the seeds of love require deliberate care. The gardener represents that nurturing energy which understands that every bloom takes time, patience, and a bit of hard work. If you're in a relationship, this card may be whispering. Look closely at the small details of your love life, the quiet moments of connection, listening intently, and even the time you spend understanding your partner's little quirks. Think of it like tending to a delicate garden, where every action, from watering to pruning, contributes to a lasting, beautiful harvest. On the other hand, if you're single, it's a call to nurture the love within yourself and let that self-compassion serve as the fertile soil for new love to take root. When you make time for self-care and focus on what makes you feel whole, you create an inner landscape where future relationships can grow naturally. Have you noticed moments where a kind word to yourself or a thoughtful gesture for a friend lifted your spirit? This is the kind of nurturing the gardener wants you to bring into every interaction. Now let's blend these energies with the overall May guidance we talked about. The gentle depth from the Queen of Cups and the balancing act of the Two of Pentacles give you a foundation of sensitivity and equilibrium. When you add the Knight of Cups into that mix, you're being nudged to let those deep feelings lead you, even if it means stepping a bit out of your comfort zone. Just as the Five of Swords warned about leaving behind unnecessary battles or conflicts, here you're reminded that true emotional victories come from authenticity rather than winning arguments or proving a point. This blend of sensitivity and pragmatic balance creates a perfect space for love to flourish without the weight of daily stresses crushing its potential. Imagine coming home after a day where your mind was busy juggling your many tasks and finding a gentle moment of connection with someone, a conversation that feels as refreshing as a soft summer rain. The Knight of Cups brings that possibility, encouraging you to be a bit more expressive and open in your affection. Have you been holding back feelings for fear they might disrupt your carefully built routine? Now might be the time to ask yourself, how can I share my true feelings without losing control? Maybe sending that heartfelt message or planning a quiet evening that honors both you and your partner's needs could make all the difference. Simultaneously, the gardener's influence is a reminder that love, like any worthwhile endeavor, needs consistent, thoughtful care. It's not about forcing an emotion or expecting instant results. It's about patiently tending to the opportunities that come your way, whether that means addressing little misunderstandings before they grow or investing time in building trust. Do you notice any areas in your relationships where a bit more attention could turn a small misunderstanding into a stepping stone for deeper connection? Think about it like preparing a garden bed. Sometimes, a little weeding or extra water is all that's needed for healthy growth later on. For those of you navigating relationships, these cards suggest a beautiful balance between being romantic and being practical. It's about following your heart's call while keeping your feet grounded in reality. Your Virgo nature means you have the strength to organize and plan, so why not use that strength to plan moments of tenderness? Perhaps set aside a regular time each week to connect with your partner, maybe a little ritual that feels both indulgent and meaningful. And if you're single, consider taking time to nurture your own inner world, allowing your natural kindness to attract relationships that honor who you are. The combination of these two cards creates a picture of love and relationships that are both fluid and intentional. There's a sense of movement with the Knight of Cups, a promise of renewed romantic energy and creative expression, while the gardener anchors that energy in the real work of nurturing lasting connections. This duality is especially potent when we see how it interacts with the general themes of emotional depth and balancing life's daily demands. You might even sense that a short journey, as hinted by the horse in our general reading, could bring an unexpected encounter or a fresh perspective on a long-standing relationship. Ask yourself, What small adventure or new approach could help me see my love life in a different light? In the end, this love and relationships reading is an invitation to honor both the heart and the hands that work to cultivate love. It's about allowing the romantic energy of the Knight of Cups to inspire gentle, expressive actions and letting the gardener show you that every bit of nurturing effort counts. Whether it's about deepening an existing bond or inviting new love into your life, remember that the seeds of love only need a little sunlight, care, and time to blossom into something beautiful. How will you bring both passion and patience into your love life this May? And now, the cards are ready to reveal insights about your career and education. Your Dreamweaver's Oracle card is Weavers Watch the Dragons Fly, and the Tarot card is the Hanged Man. In this spread, we have the Hanged Man, paired with the Oracle message of Weavers Watch the Dragons Fly, creating an atmosphere of suspension and open-minded inquiry that invites you to reframe your perspective on how you work and study. This reading speaks to both those feeling the pressures at work and students or lifelong learners seeking fresh insights in their educational journeys. The Hanged Man brings with it a call for pause, a moment to step back from the daily hustle and examine things from a new angle. You might find that your current projects, tasks, or studies have reached a point where they no longer feel as clear or forward-moving as they once did. Instead of pushing harder with old strategies, this card gently suggests that sometimes the best approach is to simply shift your view. Imagine being suspended above your routine, looking at your work or learning experience from an entirely different vantage point. Instead of seeing rigid boundaries, you begin to notice the subtle nuances, the patterns you might have missed when you were too busy immersed in details. For career-focused Virgos, this might mean rethinking established methods at the office or considering a new project that was previously overlooked. For those in education, it could be about questioning if your current way of studying truly aligns with the knowledge you wish to gain. Ask yourself, what might I see if I let go of my assumptions and allowed new ideas to take shape? Now, adding the flavor of the Oracle card, we hear a message about stepping back and observing the bigger picture with a sense of wonder and curiosity. The imagery of weavers watching dragons fly reminds you to detach from the tight stories or fixed ideas you might have built around your work or studies. It's a call to see things as they truly are, not through the hardened lens of past beliefs. For instance, have you ever felt overwhelmed by the pressure to always be right, or the need to secure a particular outcome? This oracle whispers that there is so much more potential in simply watching the dance of unexpected opportunities, much like noticing a dragon soaring freely in the sky. Whether you're in a job where performance reviews, deadlines, or office politics seem all-consuming, or in an academic setting weighed down by expectations and the pursuit of grades, the message is to be the curious observer. Look around you and ask, am I getting caught in a story that limits what I can achieve? This new perspective can open pathways that you hadn't considered before, revealing hidden doors in your career or learning environment. Together, these cards suggest that this period is about taking a breath, stepping back, and embracing a more observant, open-hearted approach. In the general reading, we explored themes of emotional balance and nurturing your inner self through the gentle guidance of your sensitive Virgo nature. Now, those energies blend with the need for a shift in perspective here in your professional or educational realm. Perhaps you're currently managing a balancing act between various responsibilities, much like the Two of Pentacles, and you might feel that old habits aren't serving you as well anymore. The Hanged Man is inviting you to suspend the familiar rhythm for a moment and really consider what new approach might propel you forward. Maybe you've been carrying around a sense of frustration or feeling that your current methods aren't yielding the results you want. This card suggests that instead of trying to force progress, you might benefit from embracing uncertainty and the unknown. It could be as simple as reorganizing your workspace, trying a new study technique, or even just allowing yourself a moment of reflection to see where creativity might lead. The idea is to pause and notice. Sometimes in that quiet space, ideas start forming naturally, much like how a painter might step back from a canvas to see the emerging masterpiece. How might a short period of contemplation change the way you approach your work or learning? Could there be a benefit in letting go of the need to control every detail for a bit and instead letting intuition guide you? On a practical level, this spread might encourage you to consider seeking advice or collaboration from others. Sometimes, when we're too locked into our own perspective, we miss the insights that come from a fresh set of eyes. It might be that a colleague or a study group could offer a new viewpoint that shifts your understanding of a challenging project or course material. Have you ever noticed how a simple conversation can suddenly unlock a solution to a problem that had been bogging you down for weeks? This period could be ripe for such breakthroughs if you're open to them. As you navigate your career or studies, remember that this time is not about immediate action or forced progress. It's about reflection and allowing your natural curiosity to explore what lies beneath the surface. The harmonious energy from your general May reading, with its mix of emotional wisdom and practical balance, supports this need for pause and fresh vision. The Hanged Man and the Oracle message together create a space where you are encouraged to question your current story about your work or education. Ask yourself, what am I truly making of my experiences? Am I binding myself to old ideas that no longer serve my growth? Let go of the pressure to define everything perfectly, and instead observe the dynamics at play with a sense of playful inquiry. In the end, this career and education reading is about transformation through a change in perspective. It invites you to replace frustration and stagnation with the energy of curiosity and mindful observation. Both your professional life and your academic pursuits can benefit from a few moments of stillness, allowing the bigger picture to come into view. Whether it's by acknowledging that not all challenges require an immediate fix, or by opening yourself up to the endless possibilities that lie in a new angle of vision, you are being gently guided to trust in the evolution of your journey. Moving on, let's take a look at the opportunities surrounding your personal and spiritual growth. Your self-care wisdom oracle card is Move, and the tarot card is Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands speaks to a time when you might feel challenged or even under pressure to prove yourself. It isn't necessarily about conflict with others, but about being ready to defend your progress, your beliefs, and the changes you're working on in your life. You might be in a situation where old habits or even external criticisms are trying to hold you back. Think about those moments when you felt like you had to shout, "This is who I am," from the rooftops, just to make sure your inner voice was heard. This card invites you to reflect. Are there aspects of your personal journey where you feel you need to stand up for your choices, even if it means going against the grain? Perhaps you're feeling a bit isolated because your path isn't the same as what everyone else is following, and that's completely okay. Being true to your vision, even when it seems like you're facing an uphill battle, can light a fire under you that drives meaningful change. Now we bring in the oracle card, Move. This card is like a gentle yet insistent push from the universe, a reminder that sometimes the best remedy for feeling stuck is to simply get up and step outside. Imagine taking a long, purposeful walk where every step helps clear away the clutter of your mind and renews your spirit. It's not about a frantic dash or a marathon, but about letting Mother Nature work her magic as you breathe in the fresh air. The simple act of moving, of putting one foot in front of the other, can be incredibly transformative for both your personal and spiritual self. Have you noticed how a little time outdoors, even if it's just a quiet stroll around your neighborhood, can lift your mood or help you see things in a new light? This is the perfect invitation to take your growth beyond the boundaries of routine. Blending these messages with the broader energy of May that we talked about earlier, there's a sense of balance and deep feeling that runs through all the guidance you're receiving. The general reading encouraged you to trust your heart while handling the balancing act of everyday life. Now, as you focus on your personal and spiritual realms, the Seven of Wands reminds you that despite the pressures you might face, whether from internal doubts or external demands, it's important to hold fast to your unique journey. You may feel an inner resistance, a sort of natural defiance that insists on protecting your hard-earned wisdom and personal progress. This can be especially true when you're up against challenges that try to diminish your spirit. Ask yourself, what part of my growth has felt threatened lately, and how can I empower myself to keep moving forward? At the same time, the call to move is an invitation not just for physical motion, but for a dynamic shift in your perspective. It's a signal that growth, whether personal or spiritual, isn't meant to happen in isolation or stagnation. It's as if the universe is reminding you that every step outside is a step into a greater understanding of yourself, a chance to dispel any lingering heaviness that might be weighing you down. For instance, maybe you've been wrestling with self-doubt or a fear that change might mean losing control. The idea here is to let go a little, explore new places, meet fresh faces, or even try out activities that you've been curious about but have set aside because of your well-planned routines. What small adventure might you take that could refresh your energy and open your eyes to undiscovered parts of yourself? Merging these two energies, you find a beautiful push-pull of defense and motion. The Seven of Wands highlights your inner resilience and the need to stand firm in your truths, while the Move card gently prods you to remember that sometimes growth happens when you break free from what you know and embrace the natural flow of life. It's a bit like being in tune with that broader theme we saw earlier, the need for balance found in the practical wisdom of the Two of Pentacles or the gentle release encouraged by the nurturing spirit of the polar bear in the general reading. Now you're adding a personal twist, the importance of not letting obstacles, whether from within or the external world, stop you from stepping forward and exploring new horizons. For your personal life, consider if there are habits or thought patterns that you've been clinging to out of habit or fear. How might a simple, mindful walk open the door to letting go of what no longer serves you? And for your spiritual journey, think about times when you felt disconnected from your inner wisdom. Could this be an opportunity to let nature remind you that change is natural and that growth flows when you free yourself from old narratives? It's really about gently easing into a more fluid state of being, where each step, each moment of brave vulnerability can lead you to a deeper understanding of your own strength. So, my dear Virgo, as we move into this reflective period of the first half of May, let these cards inspire you to stand firm in your truth while also inviting you to move with a deliberate, freeing action toward the growth you're yearning for. Whether you're focused on mending personal habits or deepening your spiritual practice, remember that both require a balance of inner defense and open-hearted exploration. How might you combine standing tall for what you believe in while also allowing the fresh energy of the outdoors to revitalize your spirit? Let this beautiful synergy be the guide, and trust that each step, no matter how small, carries you closer to the fulfilling growth you deserve. In summary, I'm sensing a beautiful energy, a kind of delicate unfolding during the first half of May that invites you to look inward, breathe deeply, and trust the gentle flow of your life. Overall, the reading speaks of deep feelings that guide you to be true to yourself, even when life feels a bit like a balancing act. It's a time when you may feel that your heart is calling for more care, for loving moments that remind you to nurture both your dreams and your relationships. The energy coming through suggests that even though you might be juggling responsibilities and facing little conflicts here and there, there's a warm invitation to step back, reframe your vision, and allow new possibilities to gently emerge. You might wake up some days feeling like you're caught between different parts of your life: work, love, personal goals, and that inner voice is saying it's okay to let a little vulnerability in. It's a time to check in with yourself. Are you giving yourself the same kindness you offer to those around you? Have you felt that sometimes you push yourself to be organized, even when your heart is yearning for a little spontaneous expression? Picture a day when, after handling your to-do list, you pause to listen to your feelings or take an unexpected walk outside. This gentle pause might just unlock a fresh idea at work, a new way of learning something, or a spark that brightens your relationship. Maybe you've had that moment when you wished for a little adventure, a short trip, a visit to a hidden spot in town, just to shake off the stress of daily details. The energy here tells you to embrace those chances, however small they might seem, to find clarity and inspiration. For your relationships, the message whispers that expressing your feelings doesn't always need a grand gesture. Sometimes it's in the little notes, the thoughtful calls, or even just the shared silence over a cup of tea where love deepens. The reading suggests that whether you're nurturing an existing bond or waiting for a new connection to bloom, there is beauty in both heartfelt action and quiet, inner work. Think about how a simple act of kindness can transform an ordinary day into something memorable. Have you ever noticed that when you allow yourself to be open, light can enter in unexpected ways? There's a reassurance here. Be gentle with yourself and those you love, letting your genuine care be the bridge to stronger, more authentic connections. When it comes to work or study, there's a powerful hint that the way you see challenges might need a little shift. Rather than getting tangled in old ideas or the frustration of endless tasks, try stepping back and viewing the bigger picture. You may find that by taking a moment to suspend the rush and simply observe what's really happening, you can see new pathways opening up. This isn't about abandoning your plans, but rather about realizing that sometimes the best move is to pause and let fresh insights come naturally. Imagine sitting quietly with a cup of coffee in the morning, where a simple observation leads to a new idea for a project or a different approach to a stubborn problem. By looking at things from a new angle, you might find solutions that were hidden in plain sight all along. And on a more personal and spiritual level, there's a clear call to stand strong and to move forward. Life might be throwing a few challenges your way, moments where you feel the pressure to defend your choices or the progress you've made. Yet, at the same time, there's an urging to get out, take a walk in nature, and let the fresh air lift your spirit. A quiet stroll or a little journey outside your usual surroundings can be like a breath of fresh air for your soul, slowly clearing away the heaviness of outdated worries. This energy is telling you that growth often comes from simply moving, from breaking free of what feels static, and from daring to see the beauty in change. All of these gentle whispers combine to encourage you to be courageous in facing your fears and doubts. The affirmation, "I am courageous and face my fears," sits at the heart of all this guidance, a reminder that no matter how challenging things may feel at times, you have the strength to overcome them. It's like having a trusted friend beside you, telling you that your vulnerability isn't a weakness, but a doorway to deeper understanding and transformation. Think of those days when a tough situation turns into a learning experience, or when a small adventure ends up revealing more about who you really are. Looking at everything as one, the energy of the next few weeks calls for a balance of heartfelt expression, thoughtful reflection, and a willingness to step into new experiences. It might be time to rearrange your daily routine, to invite in moments of rest amid the busy hustle, and to allow yourself to feel deeply, without judgment or the need for perfection. As you move forward, remember that life's journey is as much about listening to your inner voice as it is about the practical steps you take each day. I feel that these days ahead have the potential to be quietly transformative. There's an undercurrent of opportunity, a chance to embrace every part of you. Your dreams, your challenges, your relationships, and your work, with renewed energy and gentle strength. Take heart in knowing that every step, whether a small act of courage or a quiet moment of reflection, is building a more vibrant, authentic version of your life. Trust in the journey and know that the courage within you will light the way through every twist and turn that comes. Did this reading give you clarity? If so, please like and subscribe.